Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to go over Ceruledge EX, and make sure you stay tuned to the end. I've played a couple games with this so far, and spoiler alert, I do actually like this deck, but at the end of the video, I'm going to go more in-depth, tell you what I think could change, what I think needs to come out, what doesn't need to come out, what needs to be more, what needs to be less. So stay tuned to the end, because I think you're going to be surprised at what I have to say about this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Ceruledge EX. It has the attack Abyssal Flames for 1 fire. It does 30, plus another 20 for each energy card in your discard pile. Not each basic energy, each energy. So we're going to be smashing things very quickly. We get rid of a lot of cards. We draw through the deck quite quickly, and we're going to have a pretty large discard pile in pretty short order. It does have the attack Raging Amethyst, Fire, Psychic, and Metal, 280, but we don't have Psychic or Metal, and I don't ever plan on using this. We end up doing more damage over time with the Abyssal Flames attack, so don't worry about the second attack. Ceruledge is our only attacking Pokemon, so let's go ahead and get into the support Pokemon. We've got Revavroom EX, and it's one of my favorite draw Pokemon support Pokemon cards right now. With its rumbling engine. I did include it in the Shin PAL, but I'll include it here too. If you don't know what it does, ditch an energy from your hand. It's the only way to use this ability, but if you do that, you draw until you have 6 cards, and that's one of the things that this deck wants to do, is discard energy, obviously for Ceruledge, and kind of keep things moving along that way. We do only play the one Budew, and that's something that probably could change, but again, I'll go into that more at the end of the video. But with Itchy Pollen, it's for free attack, it does 10 damage, and your opponent can't use items next turn. Very good support Pokemon, very good early game. You can kind of get everything set up that you need to get it up, and then we just kind of break everything with a bunch of Ceruledge ready to attack. We do have the Squawkabilly. Squawkabilly is really good with its Squawk and Seize. On your first turn only, ditch your hand and draw 6. And we do run the Fezandipiti EX because it's one of the best draw support Pokemon in the game right now with its Flip the Script. If one of your Pokemon were knocked out on their turn, you can go ahead and draw 3 cards. I like this. I like this a lot. Now, I have elected to go with the Carmine. A lot of people are running Professor's Research, but I like Carmine in this because we get to go first and we get to use it first, which is really good. More energy in the discard very quickly. Using it in tandem with your Squawkabilly, you can get a lot of stuff out very quickly. If you don't know what it does, you can play this card on your first turn going first. If you do, ditch your hand and draw 5. Larry's Skill is actually a very good card in this. It's low-key, needs to be a 2 of minimum, but if you don't know what it does, you discard your entire hand, and then you search your deck for a Pokemon, a supporter card, and a basic energy card. Well, we need all of those to function, and we're going to be able to grab a supporter for next turn and keep things rolling, and we really actually like that a lot. Boss's Order. Pull up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active. Very simple, very easy. We do run the 1 of Briar because we're running a Terra Pokemon. If at any point in time your opponent has 2 and only 2 prize cards remaining, you can use this card. Your Terra Pokemon that take a KO on your opponent's active Pokemon, that Pokemon's worth 1 more prize card. So we take out something like a Charizard EX, it's worth 3. Potentially winning us the game, and I can't see anything wrong with that. Or, say we're down to 2, they're down to 2, we take a 1 prize Pokemon, knock it out, and Bob's your uncle, we won the game. We do run the 1 Iono, super good card as always. I think we could probably mess with numbers here, but both players shuffle their hands and put them on the bottom of the deck. Then each player draws however many prize cards they have remaining. We do have the Turo scenario, very good card I think. Pick up one of your Pokemon and put it in your hand. All cards attached get discarded. That includes energy. And last, we do run 1 Professor's Research because Professor Research is always very good. Discard your hand and draw 7. Our A spec for the day is going to be the Brilliant Blender. I really like this. If you don't know what it does, basically you can go search your deck for up to 5 cards and discard them and then just shuffle your hand. Well, we may want to discard stuff that we're not going to use. Say we've got Ultra Balls we're not using, or we've got energy that we want to get into the discard, well, that's already 100 extra damage off of one Brilliant Blender. So now we're hitting for 130, if not more, because we've already got stuff in the discard. The last card I want to go over is the Jamming Tower. It's a really good card right now because you've got stuff like Sparkling Crystal, you've got stuff like Rescue Boards, all that stuff is going around in the format, and Jamming Tower says, Pokemon tools attached to each Pokemon, yours and your opponent's, have no effect. Basically, tools have no effect at all. Anyway, that's the deck list. Let's go ahead and get into it and see how we do. Like I said in the last one, and I think maybe the one before that, going first is actually, for me at least, pretty optimal. We can get our Squawkabilly out, we can get a Carmine out usually, and we can get things moving. This does kind of suck, but we get our Squawkabilly out, and that's more or less what I was talking about. Now we're going to get the Squawkabilly out, hopefully get into the Carmine with that, or we'll just get our Squawkabilly and we can go ahead and start with the Varoom here. Don't hate the Squawkabilly down. This gives us an opportunity, but we'll go ahead and Squawk and Seize. Okay, we did not get much with that, but we did get another Charcadet. This Earthen Vessel will drop that. We can Night Stretcher at that point if we really need to, but we can go ahead and retreat. That puts another one down, and we can throw this up. And here we go. Hopefully we get something like a Varoom, and it's really not that big of a deal, and we can start pulling a bunch more cards. Or we get something like a Carmine, or we get something like potentially Larry's Skill, I think is what it's called. Yeah, or we get a Larry's, and Larry will help us out quite a bit that way. Being able to get the energy, so we'll ditch all of this, get the energy, get in, and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily like this. This will do a ton of damage to us. We need to find something and get rid of that. Okay. Okay, so we've got Ceruledge. This actually doesn't hurt us. Another energy down helps. Earthen Vessel can get rid of this. And we're drawing energy out of the deck, so that could potentially helps us as well. The Night Stretcher to go get Charcadet also could help a lot here. We're doing 90, so we're at least going to knock it out next turn. Not thrilled about that, but that's okay. What we can also do is attach Jet Energy to one of these Pokemon, retreat it. That's another damage down, so that's not bad. This needs to be knocked out by damage to put the 6 damage counters on, so there you go. That's something. 30 damage on Ceruledge. Not worried about it at all. Another Fire Energy. I will do the Jet Energy idea, just because I can retreat. And it does add damage to the Ceruledge. We can always add an energy again. That's fine with me. Night Stretcher, I don't need to do much here, but that is another bit of damage that helped out. We can throw our Tinglu down, and we're good to go. Yes, the Maractus is a problem, and we will be getting hurt. Oh, we're perfect now. We'll go ahead and take an energy, drop it down on Charcadet, Professor's Research, and move forward with that. Arven will bring up, would be my guess, a Counter Catcher. A Rescue Board. Okay. I would have gotten the Counter Catcher, although Nest Ball gets him what? Because this is a deck I've never seen before. The Mimikyu. Okay. Unfair Stamp. That does kind of sting a little bit. I'm not real happy with that, but that's okay. Okay. So we've got our Night Stretcher. Hopefully we get something off the top of this. Hopefully something like anything would be nice. Maractus here, putting 20 on the Squawkabilly, that's fine. We've got an Artisan, so that'll also help us out. We'll get another Charcadet down or another Varoom. Just pulling them out of the deck is always really fun and helps us out a lot. I'm not really worried about this so far. Squawkabilly can't retreat. That's fine, I don't plan on it. Another Ceruledge here. What we could do, let's go ahead and get an Artisan going. And we will pull... We'll pull the Varoom. It at least gets it out of deck, so that we don't draw into it. This absolutely is something that we can motivate. We don't take damage, so I'm not really worried about it. We don't take damage until it dies from damage, but if they get the snow run up and running, it'll die to that in between turns. Now, they could keep it easily alive with the Monkey Dory. We don't do enough damage and they'll heal it off every turn, but that's kind of okay. I don't mind that. We'll just take the corner. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. We've got this Ceruledge, so I'm not going to worry too much. We could very easily... We could boss here. I'm not gonna. No point in adding extra damage if I don't need to at this point. We can go ahead and Charcadet here. Night Stretcher. We've only got the 2. We can grab the 1. That's fine. And then we'll end turn. This, if we get the Varoom or the Revavroom, this is why we've got it. Now we can immediately go for it, and we're happy, and we'll draw 6, and we'll get out of this. I'm thinking they've got plenty of energy, so I don't necessarily want to throw it up the Monkey Dory so that they can retreat the Monkey Dory. That's kind of not great. This Mimikyu does hurt us a lot here. We do need to figure that out, because all they have to do is put that down. A Buddy-Buddy, okay. They would have done it, so I'll bring up the Monkey Dory so that they can't retreat, and we're pretty happy with that. Now, they could always retreat it with something like another rescue board, or with another energy that they've got, or the Night Stretcher for the energy that they've got. There's our Revavroom. We're good to put this here. We can then use our Rumbling Engine. Alright. Don't mind dropping the Ceruledge here with the energy. And we can go ahead and Abyssal Flames, take out this Maractus. Yes, we do take 6, but I'm not nearly as worried about that as you might think. The Mimikyu does come out, and that is a problem, but not nearly what you think it might be. Okay, so we've got the Counter Catcher comes up, Squawkabilly's down, that's fine. We've got another Jet Energy, we can do it again. And that helps because we have another boss's order, so that doesn't hurt us nearly as bad as you might think. So we've got the Jet Energy onto this Ceruledge. Bring that Squawkabilly up. Now, they're very easily going to move the 20 onto the Squawkabilly, so they're going to start to catch up. But I don't necessarily mind that. We can go ahead and, in the very least, throw away 1 and 1 here. That'll get us another Revavroom. Should we do this? I don't know. Are we doing this? Yes, we are. The Revavroom here is going to drop another energy. And then what we can do is Jamming Tower. That now stops a couple of things from happening on their side. We can then go ahead and get rid of the 2. We can get rid of Carmine, that's fine. I don't want to get anything else here, but we can go ahead and Revavroom for another 6, or another 5. That helps us out. This Luminous Energy does go on to a Revavroom. We have to pick and choose which one we're going to do it with, but that's going to be okay. Doesn't knock us out. That's fine. We're going to be okay. We do get another energy out of it, or another prize card, or a Pokeball. That's fine. Luminous will go down onto one of these Revavrooms, because I think we can load it up before it dies. The 20 will be moved to this Squawkabilly. They can have 2 prize cards. It's not going to affect us much. We can always potentially use Briar. We have not used our Briar yet, so we could potentially use our Briar, and that'll help. And we've got the Ultra Ball. This doesn't particularly hurt us here. We can Ultra Ball down the Budew and the Nest Ball here. We can save that. We can then go ahead and Ultra Ball away Charcadet and a Fire Energy. Let's look. We do have Briar, so taking this knockout is actually going to be very beneficial for us. We do have Boss's Order. We do have Professor's Research. We do have Jet Energies. We have some stuff to get out of the pickles that we are in. We do have a Pal Pad as well, so that's not terrible. Let's go ahead and be done here. I will take an Energy Retrieval, Energy for next turn, or even for Revavroom. We can go ahead and Rumbling Engine here, and we've got Boss's Order, and we've got Carmine. We got a lot of stuff here. I'm not really hurting as much as you might think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll end up pulling the 1. That's fine. Abyssal Flames for sure. Getting rid of this Cleffa. And we get a Brilliant Blender. We can kind of boss around the Mimikyus as well, so that's an option. We've got to be pretty aggressive, though, at this point. I think Boss's Order up the Frostlass is a good thing. That'll get that out of our way. Mimikyu, then we can always just keep going. Brilliant Blender can get a lot of stuff out of our deck that we don't want, that we would rather draw into at this point. Double Monkey Dory does suck at this point, but we should be okay. They are going to move a lot. Calamitous Snowy Mountain, I'm not really as worried about that at this point. Monkey Dory up is fine. The TM Devo does hurt our Ceruledges. Oh, that's 4 prizes. GG. That's 4 prizes. That's good. Okay, so with this deck, like I've said before, we actually do like going first. Going first allows us to Carmine, allows us to Squawkabilly, get these things moving and rolling. Okay, so we mulligan twice. That would have been fantastic. They mulligan twice as well. We do have Varooms. Don't mind this. We can go ahead and be done here. And Budew. Okay, it is our turn. This is actually not bad for us. Oh, that's even better. We can go ahead and Luminous Energy here. I don't mind that at all. And then we can go ahead and end our turn. Okay, it is our turn again, and they did not Itchy Pollen. That is surprising to me. We can go ahead and hit the Jamming Tower, and then we'll Rumbling Engine here. Getting that Charcadet, I like that a lot. We can... Okay, so they did Itchy Pollen, but we didn't get damaged. That's the difference here. Don't mind the Larry skill here. Go and get a Ceruledge, go and get a Carmine, go and get a Fire Energy. Fire Energy down, we can then retreat into the Charcadet and knock out this Budew. Hitting another Larry skill, don't hate that. What we can do with this now, instead of Carmine, what we can do is Larry skill, go and get something like Carmine or even Iono or Boss's Order, whatever we're so feeling, and then we can Ceruledge, getting another Varoom with the Larry skill. That energy that we get off of that can then be used off of a Revavroom. So this is something we like to see. The Monkey Dory is something there. It's something we need to be aware of, especially with this Snow Runt turning into a Frostlass. I'm really not worried about it. But this is going to be a problem, because start pinging our Charcadets and our Ceruledges, and then this really does get going very quickly. The Budew comes down. Okay. Go ahead and item lock me. We literally are not going to be doing anything with items this turn. Although that 30 damage could come into effect on the Ceruledge. Bravery Charm does nothing right this second. Okay, brings up the Varoom. Not worried about it at all. If I were him, what I would have done is bring up my Revavroom. We've got another Carmine. I do want to evolve here, but what I want to do is Larry's skill. We can go ahead and get ourselves another Charcadet. We can get ourselves a Boss's Order and an energy here. Charcadet down, and then Revavroom. Getting our Jet Energy, and our Earthen Vessel. So what I will do is actually get rid of this Nest Ball here. Getting 2 more energy. Oh, okay, here we go. We've got our Ultra Ball. We will get rid of these 2 energy. Just more damage, the better it goes. We've got our Ceruledge here. That's always wonderful. We can then Jet Energy onto our Ceruledge here. And we will go ahead and start knocking some stuff out. Another Revavroom does not hurt. But what we'll end up doing here, Ceruledge onto Charcadet, Carmine, more than likely Boss's Order, bring up probably Monkey Dory or even Snowrunt, so they can't really do a whole lot to us. And just keep the ball moving. Yeah, we'll bring up that Frostlass. Mainly because that starts hurting our Revavroom and it starts hurting our Fezandipiti. It will give Monkey Dory some stuff here, but okay, that doesn't really bother me at all. Everything gets pinged for a little bit, but that's okay. And we've got our Night Stretcher. Don't want to worry about that. We can use that next turn. We will go ahead and Boss's Order up the Frostlass. And then we can go ahead and Abyssal Flame and knock it out. Getting a Turo. Turo here is good. We can always Turo up something like Revavroom or something they put in active. We can go ahead and Turo scenario that up, pick it up, put it in our active, and really not worry about much. Okay. Getting 3 energy onto this now is going to be pretty hard. I'm not as worried about this as I normally would be. All we need to do is have 1 energy in the discard pile, and he put this up, so it's going to be hard for him to really get it out of active. We've got the Ceruledge, we've got the Night Stretcher, putting another energy down, so we can literally Turo this. We can Turo this Ceruledge, put this Ceruledge up, put down Charcadet, Night Stretcher, the Fire Energy. Now we have enough, and we knocked out, and we just keep knocking things out. Make sure you're drinking water, though. Good for you.
Huh?
Why did that happen? Is that a thing, like, if you don't move energy or move damage counters, is that like a thing in the, like a bug in the game? Is that a, that doesn't make sense. Why did it put 3 damage counters on Ursaluna? That's very weird that it did that. I mean, I'll take it. I don't like winning off of a bug, but I'll take it. I'm not gonna say no to that. So it is our turn. The Fire Energy here is not terrible. We are doing 130. We've got plenty of damage there. What we can do, I don't mind a Revavroom here. And yeah, we can go ahead and Rumbling Engine. I don't see how that hurts us at all. Adds another energy. We've got our Brilliant Blender. We can go ahead and add even. So we can get rid of our Squawk. We can get rid of... Maybe we got 1, 2, 3. I like this. I don't hate any of this other stuff. I don't need the Buddy-Buddy. What I'd like to do is we can add here, and then we can go ahead and Rumbling Engine that Jet Energy off. Getting more stuff here. This is good. We'll go ahead and hit for 230. I think no matter which way you slice it, though, we probably had this game because we got too far ahead for these 1-prizers. We don't have a ton of abilities down for them to really rack up damage. They don't have a ton of abilities to rack up damage on things. So I think we're okay. The fact that they're taking a long time, though, tells me that they probably timed out, or they shut the game off, or something of that nature. So, and And they did it without actually conceding, so they're probably a mobile user where they can just close the application without conceding. It doesn't really count towards their record of conceding, so it doesn't count as a loss or a win because it's a disconnect in the code, I think. But they were doing the monkey, and this is what I think. I think they were doing the monkey dory, was inactive for 2 hours. So I think what happened was they were doing the monkey dory, and then they just closed the application, and then it bugged by giving that 30 damage that it was supposed to move to the Pokemon that was active. But that's my thoughts. And there you go, Ceruledge EX. I actually like this deck. I think it can be improved. I think it's a little less aggressive than I would like. We don't have any backup attackers, and that can be a problem. I think maybe the Fire Ogerpon could be okay if we had a way of accelerating energy, and I think that's the problem, is we want a couple of different backup attackers, but we don't have anything or any way of accelerating. As you saw in that last one, Mimikyu really could have been a big problem. Now, they were able to take the 4-turn KO, and that's awesome. Honestly, I liked it when decks can do that, and good on you. But I will say that overall, I do think this deck just needs a good backup attacker, something that's strong and has its wits about it. Now, that being said, I think the better option as far as draw support goes, and potentially a backup attacker in that, would be the Dunsparce line. 2 Dunsparce or 3 Dunsparce, 3 Dunsparce, and a Dunsparce EX, I think would go really great in this deck. I think we do need to find some way of moving away damage, or being able to smack something like a Cornerstone Ogerpon, or being able to smack something like a Mimikyu EX. And guess what? Well, the Dunsparce EX actually does that. Not only does it not have an ability, so it doesn't worry about the Cornerstone, but it also has the attack where you can go around the current effects on your opponent's Pokemon. So like Mimikyu, it gets ignored basically. So that's an option. I think that's a good backup attacker. It kind of keeps your bench clear. It kind of always has cards in deck in that way. You're constantly drawing cards. So I think maybe being able to pivot this deck into a Ceruledge and Dunsparce deck might actually get us a lot more. We'll be able to churn through stuff like our Ultra Balls. We'll be able to churn through things like our Earthen Vessels, and churn through things like Carmines and stuff like that. We'll be able to have a lot of that just in our hand, and we don't necessarily have to get rid of it, but we'll have ways of getting rid of energy, like being able to pull our Brilliant Blender and stuff like that. So I think maybe getting rid of the Revavroom and Varoom line and putting in a 3-3-1 line would really actually help out a lot if you're running the Dunsparce line. That would be my thought process. Another thing we could do is even run maybe Goldengo in this. Now, that is another EX that does not get around Mimikyu, so we would find another one, but being able to attach a Luminous Energy to your Goldengo and having 2 beefy, good EXs that just attack and swing could also be an idea. Having a bunch of energy and discarding it, and then using your Ceruledge at the end of the game as attacker number 2 or attacker number 3. So maybe all of that needs to be thought of. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, if you would, please give me a like, share, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. We're at 370, and I never thought we'd be here. I really appreciate everybody that has subscribed and has commented. I read all your comments. I try to. I think I've done it so far, but I reply to everybody's comments. I love you guys so much. It's fantastic. And with that, have fun, stay safe. I do love you.